Hey, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all of the other episodes, check the link in the description, stop by raprankings.com, or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform. And please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting to help us grow the channel and continue our journey as hip-hop's first and premier extreme podcast.
And we're back. Folks, we have the first of two special guests tonight. And this is a Rap Rankings debut.
I'll hit the gunshot.
This is a man who stood on the front lines during the COVID-19 pandemic as a medical professional, but he also just returned to the ring and won the Pawcade Battle Royal. He is a member of the TLF solar system. But perhaps most importantly, he is a Juggalo. Please welcome Steve. Steve, welcome to the program.
Wow, that was quite the introduction. When you said front lines, I thought you were going to go with he stood front line as Fago was being thrown upon him at these concerts 20 years ago.
Okay, so just off the bat, so that's an actual, because I read about this in the Wikipedia and others, so they really be throwing bottles of Fago at people.
Yo, I saw them live in like 2003 at some fancy venue in Indianapolis that had carpet everywhere. And honest to God, man, they are chucking 2 liters out there. From what I understand, it's always like diet root beer, maybe? It's always diet because they figured out that the sugar was corrosive and was destroying their sets.
You know what? I'm not surprised, because I'll tell you what, in preparation for this episode, I went out and drank as many Fagos as I could find. I'd had it before, but I really had to dive into these different flavors. And man, I checked that nutrition facts. And my heart sank, okay? They're trying to kill us. Fago does not care about the citizens' health. What was it, like 128% of your daily value of sugar in that bottle? Okay, but, you know, there are some... do you have a favorite flavor of Fago? Just interested.
Man, it's been so long since I've consumed Fago.
Okay.
I remember liking Moon Mist.
Okay.
What is Moon Mist? What color, first of all?
It's like... It's akin to like a Mountain Dew, or not even that. It's more like the old Winn-Dixie brand Mountain Holler, that kind of off-brand flavor.
Okay.
Red Pop is big in the community, but I never cared for that one. I think just people like saying Red Pop. But yeah, as a young Mountain Dew fanatic back in the day, the Moon Mist definitely spoke to me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm partial to this cotton candy I found. It's it's pretty
perfect
good.
for the vibes tonight, Mel.
You know, right? Carnival, circusy, murderous clown vibes. Yeah. But, yeah, this is Rap Rankings, and I'm glad to have a real life Juggalo in here because I'm confused but interested. I am interested. You know, I've been interested this whole season waiting on this episode. All the things I've heard about this group and this music, and yeah. So I guess before we get into the real thick of things, I'll run down the rating system since you're new here on the show. Anybody who's coming in to hear, my new friend Steve, okay, he's the main attraction. I feel you, okay. This is why we brought him as a guest. But if you're new here,
hurry, stop right up, you know?
Right, yeah, you know. All right, so I'll go through the rating system for both Steve and any people Steve brings in. So here's the deal. The rating system's simple. Each song is rated on a scale of 1 to 10. These numbers do not reflect the quality of a song, because that's indeterminable. Instead, each number reflects a level of enjoyment. In short, here's what each number means. 10 means it's a perfect song to me, one of my favorite songs of all time. 9 means I love it. 8 means I like it a lot. 7 means I like it. 6 means it's all right. I don't dislike it, but I can't say that I like it. 5 means I feel practically nothing about this. 4 means it's not the worst thing I've ever heard, but I dislike it. 3 means I dislike it. 2 means I hate it, and 1 means I absolutely can't stand it, one of the worst things I've ever heard. Side note, you can add a plus or a minus to those numbers. They have no mathematical or statistical value. The pluses and minuses, they're just indicators that mean one of two things. It's like a strong or light version of that number, like a 6 plus, strong 6, 8 minus, light 8. Or it's an indicator for really us on this show. I mean, unless you return, you're more than welcome to return to the show. But we have a segment called I Was Fucking Tripping. And, you know, our ratings they change sometimes. They're not static. So we'll come back in like 3 months and be like, you know what, I was fucking tripping. That 6 plus is like, this could go up to a 7 one day. You know, so it's just kind of a cue to the audience that it's kind of right there on the border. But that's the system. That's it. So, yeah.
Sounds good, man.
And with you being our guest, you know, we give the floor if you want to be the first to rate a song. Hokus Pokus, right, Mel?
Yes, produced by Mike E. Clark, apparently. This is track 3. If you like to give your rating first, you're more than welcome. Or we can set the stage. It's however you want to do it.
No, it feels weird to rank something like this as a 41-year-old man now, you know. But I'm still. If you hit me at a certain point in my life and get me a sentimental value, I'm going to hold on to that. So I'm going to call this a 7 for me.
Nice. Okay. He likes it, folks. Well, Moulz, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'd be glad to, because this is tied with another song later on for my favorite on the album, and they ain't missed yet, okay? 7+.
Wow.
King me, baby.
Okay. Oh, this always happens. A guest comes in and Mel has.
I didn't expect to like the song more than Steve.
Villain.
I mean, shit, I'm giving this thing a 7+. I feel like a fool.
Oh, well, I'm gonna feel like the biggest fool because now I'm just like, you know, I'm the evil carnival barker with the cigar that's yelling at all the talent. Get out of here! It's a 6+. Okay, which is not bad. I'll explain as we do on this show. But like, I've heard much worse things in my life than this. Okay, that 6+. It's right on the border. It could go up one day. It could be a 7, but yeah. Before I explain why I had to be, you know, the buzzkill, would you like to share your background with ICP or being a Juggalo or this song or this album or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll try to keep this not too long-winded. You do kind of have to tell the story before the story, of course, with something like this.
Right.
This is the kind of thing, especially back then, you just fell into.
Okay.
Back in 1997, when the Great Milenko dropped, most people had not heard of Insane Clown Posse, and I was certainly one of them.
Okay.
I was 15 years old. Rap was my preferred genre, but I was listening to what was available to me on the radio. I fell heavy into Tupac and Snoop and Dre and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then just by proxy, that led me to Eazy-E and NWA. You figure by 1997, that scene's really in a lull. And because I just followed where the radio took me, I moved on to Biggie. And that was the summer that Puff Daddy was dancing on Biggie's grave at the VMAs and all that shit.
Right. Yeah.
That led me to Mace, you know?
Okay.
But then on MTV, they talked about this group that Disney had pulled the album from the shelves because it's too hardcore for you to listen to.
Right.
As a 15-year-old boy, like I want in, but I had no idea how to get in. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a job. I couldn't go buy a CD. But as happened back then, the tape started to circulate. I would start to hear classmates at school talk about these songs. And it was actually, I believe, Thanksgiving of 97. My cousin popped in the tape.
Wow.
While we were outside. And that was my first exposure. And it was just like nothing I'd ever heard before, man.
Was this before or after Thanksgiving dinner? I hope before.
Well, after.
Oh. Okay.
It was after. Yeah. That cousin is currently in and out of the judicial system now.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, best of love to him, as we say on this show. Best of love.
Yeah. Then my friend Ryan, for my 16th birthday that February, gave me the Great Milenko tape. And yeah, I was off and running, man. I was all in from that point on, sadly.
Well, whoop, whoop, right? You know? Okay.
And I stuck with it until about 2005, 2006.
Now,
and
what happened?
I haven't really listened to much.
Did the music kind of fall off for you, or you just age out of it? Like, where are you at with that?
A little of A, a little of B.
Okay.
Mike E. Clark was the producer for the first 5 albums, I think. And originally they told this ridiculous story about the 6 Joker's cards, and it's too much lore to get into right now. But the 6th was supposed to be like the crescendo of it all.
Right.
And Mike E. Clark disappears right before the 6th. And they bring in this different guy. And I wasn't as in tune with the new guy. His name was Mike P.
Okay, so still
that's kind of like a Joker's trick, though.
Right? The Joker's trick, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, but by 2006, I was a husband. I was a father. I was gainfully employed. And the most damning thing of all, around 2003, I actually started to meet other juggalos. And that's what really did it for me. I'm like, all right, man, I didn't realize it was like this.
Oh, man. Well, kind of makes sense considering the song on this.
Like what? Like what?
I mean, everybody looked like they'd just been working on a car.
I mean, shout out to our mechanics out there. You know, I've yet to meet a non-scummy one, but hey, that's okay. I'm sure they're out there. They might be juggalos. Those might be the good mechanics.
To be clear, did you ever go to one of these Gathering of the Juggalo events?
No, I didn't have the internet until 2002. And they started doing the first year I was aware of it. It was like almost like a Comic-Con deal where they were in a convention hall, that kind of thing.
Right.
Starting in 2003, they moved it outdoors. And that honestly looked incredible. And if I would have gone in 2003 or 2004, I would have had a great time. But I said, all right, 2003 looks awesome. I'm going to start putting aside money to go to 2004. And by that time, I was engaged to a woman who was 10 years older than me. And this was seen as one of those, we're not going to do that for real, are we? kind of things.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, yeah, I never made it to the Gathering.
Well, that's a shame. But, I mean,
I
based
will
on what
say,
you're saying,
I looked into the Gathering, the one that's being held this year. It's actually coming up pretty soon. And they look like they have a lot of cool things going on. Now, would I be in the bag for, the music aspect of it? I might be going to the other tents. I might be in the JCW. I might be at the Freak Show. I don't think I'm going to be at, any of the festival stages. But I don't know. I'm curious about this event. I've lost a relationship due to this event.
You can't just casually drop that in, man. We need details on that.
Well, I briefly brought it up in the background information. I might as well get into it now. So I was talking about the Gathering of the Juggalos with the girl I was dating at the time because I had watched a documentary or a video online about it. And my takeaway was these people seem like they have found community amongst themselves. And it was not, a bad thing necessarily. And she was very judgmental about the whole Juggalo situation and the Gathering and, the, show us your tits aspect of it all. And, I had to grill her about it because she goes to these music festivals, the EDM festivals and whatnot, where a lot of bad shit goes down. And you got a lot of, white frat boys and neon sunglasses dropping shit in women's drinks. Like, there's no music festival where bad shit's not going down. And I don't know, the Juggalos I felt like were getting a bad rap, and I was defending them in an argument with her. And, we ended up ending the relationship because we couldn't see eye to eye on this, and I wouldn't let it go.
It's just funny because you weren't even a juggalo, and so it's just
I'm not a juggalo. I have questions for juggalos, but I'm not a juggalo.
You touched on something there though, man. When, like I said before, I was kind of into that whole West Coast gangster scene in the 90s, but realistically, I was a skinny white kid from Louisville, Kentucky. I enjoyed the art, but I was not a member of the community. When ICP came along, this is something different. This is something weird. I'm a little something different, a little something weird. Mm-hmm. I think I connected with it more on that level as a possible, hey, this may be my people. This might be my home. Because I'm not wearing khakis and sea walking and fucking dripping in my lowrider and all that shit. But the music spoke to me. Mm-hmm. These ICP touches on a lot of that feeling unwanted and out of place. And ending up, in the lore, you end up in the carnival because this is your family now. You don't have a home anywhere else. So that is where people tend to get drawn into it.
Okay, we understand that, Moulz and I. I mean, not only as wrestling fans, but having come from being in what we refer to as the cult. We don't need to get into it, but we both share a favorite artist who we endured such things as having to believe that Beyonce is Silver the Hedgehog. Okay, it's a lot.
Look,
but
there was a social media network called the Vampire Vatican. It's a whole lot to get into if you don't know. But, there are other lore-heavy, Juggalo-adjacent cults out there, if you could believe it.
right, and that's why I was drawn to this whole group, because I love lore, and so I'm like reading the Wikipedia as the album's playing. I'm looking up websites and like Angel Fire fan pages. I'm just like, give me all of that. I want to know as much as I can going in this album. So I knew about these Joker's cards and everything, and I'm like, I'm not put off by that kind of stuff. But ultimately, we're a music analysis podcast, so like the music still has to execute on all this. Like the lore was very interesting to me, but when it comes to the music, that's a different story.
The music, Steve was saying that he was a fan of like a lot of the 90s West Coast gangster rap, and I hear some of that in ICP's music, not necessarily in the content and subject matter, but in a lot of their flows, some of the beats that they choose to rap over. I get, for instance, later on that song, How Many Times, it could have been a Cypress Hill record. Like there's Wu-Tang energy on this album, which isn't West Coast, but it's, basically what I'm trying to say is going into this album, not really ever having heard ICP before outside of the Oddities theme song from WWE, which we'll play in a minute. It's interesting to me, like, they're a lot less bad than I thought they were going to be, and they're a lot more indebted to, what is this, 97 this album came out?
Yeah.
Yes.
It sounds like rap from, like, 93 to 96. Like, it's indebted to Onyx and Wu-Tang at points on the East Coast side of things. I'm getting some Cypress Hill and some like Mac 10 vibes from, some of the West Coast sounds on here. And it's not as, I don't know, clownish of an affair as I was expecting. This song, though, is. And,
it's funny.
I just feel like that's...
It's funny you say that. They,
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry to interrupt, man. They toured with Onyx right before they recorded this album. I only know that because I read the Violent J autobiography, and I reread the section covering this time period when I agreed to come on the show to kind of refresh some of those points in my head.
Okay.
Yeah, some of the flows and just like the energy in general and the Violent J performances specifically, I got some of that, or like, RZA on early Wu-Tang, like Enter the 36 Chambers. There's influence from, to me, like early to mid 90s rap on here that made it a little more, I guess, like easy to access for me than I thought it was going to be. But oddly enough, the stuff that works for me best on this album is stuff like this, which is when these guys are leaning into the gimmickry and the clownishness of it all. Because I don't want to listen to, let's say, like a third-rate Cypress Hill when I could just listen to Cypress Hill, but nobody's giving me what I'm getting on Hokus Pokus.
Yeah, I feel you. It's like, hey, if I'm gonna listen to guys channel their affinity for like early West Coast rap and NWA and Ice Cube and shit, at least give me a gimmick where they're clowns and like let them talk about clown stuff. Otherwise, I'd rather listen.
And that's when the album works the best for me, is just when it's in that lane of, the carny talk. And that's what we get on Hocus Pocus in the chorus, the ha 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 ha, all the clown activity going on during the verses. I enjoyed this one, and it being like the first proper rap song on the album after like, the first two tracks being more intro style or interlude style. I think it's a good first impression, better than I expected it to be. So yeah, 7+.
Yeah, I mean, what it really comes down to for me with these guys is so I'm always down for wacky stuff, but you know, not all wacky stuff is gonna land with me. What I get out of this song that I like, that's sort of over the top and clownish and cartoonish, was it like later on in the song, it's like, try to land in a glass of Faygo. You suck. You missed the fucking glass. Broke your neck and busted your fucking ass. That cracked me up, but it was like barely rapping, which gave it like a very stylistic flair. Like the imagery was funny, it was sort of a conversational flow. But when they're like actually like rapping about, I guess, conventional things, and like Moulz was saying, to my surprise, this album is more conventional than I would have expected based on how people speak about ICP. I'm like, oh, I mean, this is rap. This isn't that crazy. Like, you know, I get that it's, you know, quote, scare the hose music, but like, I mean, it's not that different from a lot of rap. I mean, like when I guess Violent J, he's like, abracadabra, boom shakaday, I'm Violent J and I'm back like vertebrae. That could have easily been an Ice Cube flow. Like I could hear him there, you know? So like, it's not really that far off from a lot of hip hop that they were drawing, you know, inspiration from, that was happening at the time. I like the beat. We have like a saying on the show, like fat. It's called like a fat man beat. This is a fat clown beat. It has like very, very weighty elements that I enjoy. It's the best part of the song for me because it has that, you know, circus clown melody.
It's got that. It's got the
the Egyptian sort of melody, but it's like slightly altered.
Charmer.
Yeah, the snake charmer.
And then we got
thing.
This the Turtles buzzsaw as well. So I have 2 out of the 3 in the folder. That, you know, snake charmer melody, which actually Streets of Cairo or Poor Little Country Maid, is from 1895. I don't have the recording. I'm sorry.
Wow. Well, we've heard it actually a handful of times on the show already. It was on the Cannabis album. It was a bunch of albums. So, yeah. We know about dun-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Okay, but...
well, that's there.
Yeah. We got these other things in the folder here. Are we playing one of these right now?
Yeah, let's hear Buzzsaw, and let's hear Entrance of the Gladiators.
All right, well, here's the Turtles, Buzzsaw.
Buzzsaw.
I gotta say, I appreciated that payoff. Just Buzzsaw. Yeah, that popped me. Yeah, so that's that sample that you hear in the beat.
I don't think it's pronounced this way. There's like a arrow pointing down on the C, and there's like an accent mark over the I, but this is Julius Fuck it. Fuck it.
Fucik is how it's spelled. Maybe Fukic? Fusic? Let's go with Fuckic. Fuckic, right?
He is one of the greats in composing history. He made this. Play it.
Oh, all right. Well,
he made this. Julius Fuck it. He made this shit. Nobody heard that before. Julius Fuck it. Yep.
What a legend. Right. All right. What an enduring piece of music. Okay.
So enduring, you know, someone by the name of Jamal Harris did a freestyle and they sampled it. This shit is crazy. This is just some boys clowning around. The only other use of the sample that came to mind for me.
All right, listen. I gotta do it. You gonna make me do this in front of company? All right. I didn't know it was gonna be part of this review. All right. So here's the thing, Steve. In college, because I just to pop myself, having fun, I had an alter ego. I would moonlight as a homosexual gangster rapper by the name of Jamal Harris. As always, best of love to the LGBTQ plus. I think I got it all. Community. We love the community. We have a dedicated drop on the show when we hear these rappers say mean and nasty things about them. The Triple H drop for hip hop homophobia. Okay, whenever it happens, we got to hit the daggone. Time to play the game. The rap game, that is. But yeah, I did it I did it as a rib. Okay, as Kevin Nash would say, it was a rib. It was funny, and it wasn't like disparaging at all. But anyway, this is a Jamal Harris song called "Just Some Boys Clowning Around." God damn it. This may have been the final one that was recorded, actually, to be fair.
Like, look, I have to do my historical due diligence. All right? I'm not trying to embarrass you.
This was never released. All right, here we go. Oh, you thought it was over, nigga? I was hanging with the clown mob. They had the big ass clown shoes, so you know they had the clown cock. I said, hey, what you doing over here? Can I play? They said, hey, you know what? Squeeze my nose, and then out came come. I'm like, whoa! I thought that was supposed to be water, nigga. He said, water, nigga. We ain't no motherfucking otters, nigga. Now come over here, I smack your ass, bend you over, make you gag like. I am so sorry.
All right, you don't know how close I get to getting canceled every single day, and I didn't think this would be the thing that did it.
Oh no! Listen, it was a different time. I was goofing around in the comfort of my own home.
For the record, I didn't know this man before 35 minutes ago.
Oh my God! There are more stories like that than you will believe of people that meet me, and then like within the first hour, they're like, "Yeah, this guy's fucking different." Like, it's like, yeah. Oh my God! All right. Jesus Christ! Oh, there it is. World premiere. Okay. Oh, fuck.
I'll say this: if you have career concerns, maybe we could edit it out. It's up to you.
I mean, we'll see. It's fine. There's nothing wrong. If anything, the thing that I said, which I didn't know was a bad word at the time, was the word spaz, which apparently, is derived from spastic, and in the community that suffers from that affliction, let it be known because of a Beyonce song recently, like about she had said it because it was a colloquial term. It's like, oh, like dumbing out or like snapping on the beat, like, oh, they spaz. But it's like, no, don't say that because it's like ableist. And she was like, oh, my bad. And she took it out the song. Or was that Lizzo that said it? I think Lizzo said it. And she took it out of the song. So but in 2015, we didn't know. That might be the worst part of the song. But we'll see. I'll be judged before a jury of my peers. And if I end up in clown jail, it's my own fault. But what else do we have in here? Okay, let's try to erase the memory of that.
This is from the Moulz Bag of Tricks. I mentioned it back in the background info. This is my only exposure to ICP prior to this week from a musical perspective. It's the theme to the Oddities, the stable in the WWF and 97, 98-ish, right?
Okay.
98.
And, Luna, Kurgan, Golga, all the greats in that stable. Wow. And, hey, the intro also samples a film that we did a commentary for, Mel.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, we got a little freak sample up top.
Oh.
And this is The Greatest Show.
All right, well, here it is.
We didn't lie to you folks. We told you we had living, breathing monstrosity. You don't think it's funny? It's sad, is it?
Down, Diddy, go, get your ass out the way, 'cause here we come and we springing this spectacle in Indian town. We got creep shows, freak show. Most people don't like these oddities. Most people would love them
want to say it was SummerSlam 98 where ICP come out with the oddities and are like rapping the song.
Is it bad if I enjoy that more than the song Hokus Pokus?
I enjoy them about the same.
Okay. All right.
They're in the same vein, though, you know? I like the circus rap from them. That's what they should be doing. They're clowns.
Right. Well, yes and no, because this is what I was alluding to earlier, because some of the stuff that I get the sense it's definitely meant to be amusing, and I'm not unamused by it, but I'm not as amused as I need to be to enjoy this. Like when they're rapping about like folded fat floppy tittied freaks and trunk full of Faygo, car full of fat chicks, and it's like, you know, I can give two shits and a fuck and like dick anus, and I'm like, okay, what am I like, you know, 11 again? It's like, yeah, but like that's where like I hit the ceiling on that stuff, because it's like, and I'm sorry to do the comparison thing, because what is that? What's his phrase? Laziest form of criticism. But I'm not a critic. I'm an analyst, and I'm just saying there's a way that Eminem does like that wacky, shock, violent stuff that's less blunt and like a little more clever. So like that stuff lands with me. Like the difference between Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee whooping each other's ass on the Eminem song versus like, you know, this stuff.
I mean,
you know?
For me, the reason I prefer Eminem to ICP, and it's not even a, you know, like I don't even make the comparison in my mind between them. Like I don't think stylistically they have very much in common outside of some of the shock value stuff. Eminem is a technician. You know, ICP, True. They're not bad rappers, but like I get the sense that like they're kind of stylists, like more than maybe I expected going in, but they're not technicians. I mean, they can't hold a candle. Right.
They're not going to be flowing your ears off, you know, but
yeah, I tend to enjoy the circus stuff because I went back and listened to some ICP before they were the clowns. They started out as a group called the Inner City Posse.
Yes. Yeah.
And it sounded like it was. You remember that HBO Undercover, Banging in Little Rock?
more than you know. I actually worked with one of the young men on there who went on to become, you know, an artist. So.
It reminds me of that. These kids in the back seat of a car who don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're just rapping along because I think that's what they're supposed to be doing. And yeah, Inner City Posse was like, they're mediocre as the clowns. But as Inner City Posse, they were just not even mediocre. They were just the most bland, nothing happening, flavorless kind of rap you could possibly listen to. One step above Barney Rubble rapping about Fruity Pebbles.
Wow. Well, I mean, when I was reading, I read that, and I guess they made the right move because they sense like we got to pivot to stand out, because right now we're a dime a dozen. Like, you know, hip hop has this already. Rap has it, so let's wear clown makeup and let's incorporate these elements and talk about, you know, the Joker's card and the Dark Carnival and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, because I'll take that over just being, you know, the Inner City Posse. You know,
the fact that it took off though, they're like the fact that people were receptive to their lore, they got really lucky in that sense, but. I mean, they continue to ride that shit till the wheels fall off.
Right. You know?
Yeah, they had this very brief period after this where their next album debuted at like number 4 or something on the Billboard charts.
Wow.
Just this ridiculously hot peak that fizzled out almost immediately. But like, it seems like the core audience that came with Milenko stuck around after that drop after Jekyll, which was the next album. And they've been playing to those same, I don't know, 200,000 fans, give or take a few, for 25 years now. I mean, they know their market. They don't try to expand too much past it. They very rarely fall off from that number, and they figured out how to budget and make it work. So God bless them, man. They've built their own little empire out of this. So, you know, they're not going to be Drake by any means.
Right.
You know, they're not buying platinum toilets. But they certainly got houses with a little bit of property. You know, those boys are doing all right.
I respect it. we can only hope to be so lucky to build a passionate, dedicated fan base that comes out every time, you know? So, hey, give it up for ICP. All right.
I have 2 wrestling-related questions, Steve, before we go.
Sure.
The first is, with all this lore, are ICP the Bray Wyatts of hip-hop?
Ooh, probably. If not ICP, then one of the 100 or so ICP adjacent groups that they spun out of. I mean, there's others that were shittier and flamed out faster. Anybody Killa was like a Native American doing the same kind of gimmick under there. And he was heavy into the lore. I don't think he's still doing music. Maybe he is. Fuck, I don't know. I've been so far removed from all that now. Yeah, I'd say that's probably fair.
Okay, and the second is, on this album, the Great Milenko is this, oracle, fortune teller, carnival demon thing. What connection does that have to Dean Milenko, Boris Milenko? Like, I know they like wrestling, but is there any real connection there?
I think just the name, and that's part of what drew me to them. I recognized the name Great Milenko. I started getting heavy into the wrestling magazines at the end of 94, beginning of 95, right around the time that Boris Milenko died. So they were covering that heavy. So Great Milenko was just still in the forefront of my mind in 97. And of course, Dean was in WCW by then, so I knew who he was. So I think the name sounded cool to them, and they picked it and never thought twice about it. And here we are.
To be, was there collusion between the Insane Clown Posse and Pro Wrestling Illustrated in the year 1997? As we know Dean Milenko rated #1 on the PWI 500 that year.
Ooh.
Collusion.
I'm not going to rule it out. They had been indie wrestlers going back to like 1991.
Yes, this is true.
People didn't really realize that at the time. They started showing up in the big leagues, so to speak. They showed up in ECW 97 and WWF 98. And then WCW 99, they just ran the whole damn gamut. But people didn't realize that I didn't know they were trained wrestlers until I got the Violent J book and saw pictures of Violent J doing like a G.I. Joe gimmick in 1991.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe they called Billy after and grease his palms a little bit to get the co-promotion going on.
Wow.
You know what?
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, listen, I'm not even gonna have to hit the X-Files theme. I'm going with it all the way. It was a collusive. Is that a word? It's a collusive effort. Okay, between
they created
the
a collusive environment for sure.
Yeah.
And tying that into current day, if I make the PWI 500 for my one wrestling match I had this year, you better believe I'm sending a check directly to Kevin McElvaney's front door, the current editor-in-chief of Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
You heard it here first, folks, an exclusive. Take that, dirt sheets. Okay, we got the real scoops. All right.
Honestly, I think he should be in the PWI 500 this year, and I'm just going to state my case right now. You could clip this, make it a YouTube short, whatever you want to do. Listen, why Steve should be in the PWI 500. It's simple. He's the only person this year who had a match who actually promoted their match. He promoted his match. He told people to come and buy tickets. And that's why he should be in the PWI 500. I've never seen anyone promote their fucking match. Not as aggressively, okay? And this man moved fucking units. He moved tickets. Put asses in seats. This is why he should be in the PWI. He should be in the PWI because he understands what this business is all about.
You know what? I haven't seen the match. I'm giving it a 10 on the rap ranking scale. A perfect match to me. One of the greatest matches I've ever heard of. Because here's the thing. Okay, our scale is real and it's legitimate and it doesn't change on a whim. I know what these marks are out here thinking. They're thinking,
I wonder what the star rating will be.
And we know the truth, okay? We know the truth. Well, actually, where's the full thing? Okay, where's Seth Rollins, okay, to set the record straight on this match, okay?
I wonder what the star rating will be. I haven't heard that yet.
Has anyone hit 8 yet? Are we 9? Is he into the 10s yet? That moron.
Well, listen,
Nobody cares.
I'm going to break the scale, okay? Moulz Meltzer giving the Battle Royal an 11.
Oh, man.
Because
we jumped the shark. We jumped the shark.
It has all the Listen, to me, what's really missing in wrestling these days, we write storylines, we tell stories in the ring. But what about the stories that are told out of the ring? What about a guy who had a little run, a cup of coffee in the Indies, and he went and lived a normal life. He went to live a life of a great man, a well-adjusted man in society. And then once he finally reaches a level of, of comfort in his life, he still got that bug. It's still calling him. So he goes back and wins a battle royal. Are you kidding? This is the story. This is the finish the story. This is the story of the year.
I promoted this thing. I did 3 promos and tweets throughout several months. I sold that bitch out. I won. I mean, if nothing else, I think that it's a solid case for number 498 out of 500.
I don't know, man. Cody couldn't get it done this year. We put a lot of stock into Cody, and he couldn't get it done.
I'm campaigning for 498 because I guarantee 497 didn't sell out a single show this year.
Wow. I love it. You know what? I just met you like 45, 50 minutes ago, but I got a message for you from Busta Rhymes.
You my favorite new dude.
Okay, you're my favorite new dude. This has been great. All right, I've learned a lot about the Juggalos. I've learned a lot about friendship. Okay, I've learned a lot about cancelable offenses, and guess what? That song will never happen again. It hasn't since 2015. Okay, all right. So this has been a great time. All right, and I just want to say, to ICP, if you're listening, keep listening because we got more tracks. And give me more of people trying to jump into glasses of Faygo. Give me less of ripping my face off and wiping my ass or your ass with it, because that doesn't do anything
right now. They ain't missed yet with me. 3 for 3 so far.
I'm 2 for 3. They're not doing too bad, Well, no, I'm 1 for 3. I'm tripping. I like track 2. I like track. Great, Milenko. That's good stuff. It's catchy. All right, it's catchy. But,
well, we're all going to the circus with Steve. The floor is yours. Any plugs, any shout outs, whatever you got to do, handle your business.
Yeah, go ahead and watch that wrestling match I had. It just got uploaded this week to Fight TV. If you have Fight Plus, it's part of their monthly subscription fee. I believe it's $7.95 a month. On episode 20 of Paradigm Pro Wrestling Magnum Opus. For some reason, my face is on the damn thumbnail to promote this thing. So yeah, you can't miss my fat ass pasty face promoting the Battle Royal along with Joseph A. Game, who's a fantastic young pro wrestler. Keep an eye on him. Other than that, my Twitter is at Not Dr. Death, NOTDRDEATH. Follow me for wrestling takes. Follow me for general buffoonery and being easily provoked and threatening to fight people all across this great country of ours. And follow the lads. They do good work here. I've had a blast here on Rap Rankings talking about my shameful youth.
This is the place to do that. So, yeah.
One of these days, we'd love to have you back on for, a normal album.
I think it kind of works better with a shitty little niche album. Just one point I do want to make real quick before I venture off here. I picked Hokus Pokus because, like I said, 1997, most people had not heard of ICP. And this was the first proper song that most people would have heard as their gateway. And right away, you know exactly what you're getting into. You get the circus samples. You got the trunk full of Faygo, car full of fat chicks. You're jumping into the glass of Faygo. There's all these weird local Detroit references to neighborhood hoodlums that nobody else knows of but these guys.
Right.
It's such a weird, wild ride, but it sets the table perfectly for the rest of the album. And yeah, it's the gateway drug to a lot of juggalos. So I think low key, it's a lot of people's favorite song that are still into that scene.
Nice. Wow. Well, nice. I'm glad I like it because that means I could one day become a juggalo. Unlike this guy over here.
I still got a chance. There's like, how many? There's like 13 more tracks.
I'm trying to be the first G-Unit soldier in the Juggalos. So wish me luck.
Oh, God. Hey, listen, I need you to infiltrate them clowns, man. It makes me nervous. 50 Cent might be scared of clowns, whatever the phobia is of clowns, and he sent Moulz in there. All right. I'll do investigation. But until then, Steve, thank you for coming. Nice speaking to you.
Thank you
nice
so much,
meeting
Steve.
you. And
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, just stick around a second. We got to get this audio off this daggone podcast recording.
And folks, stick
platform.
around. We got more of the great Milenko coming up.
Hey, it's Mel from Rap Rankings. To hear the full episode this clip comes from and all of the other episodes, check the link in the description, stop by raprankings.com, or search Rap Rankings on your favorite podcast platform. And please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting to help us grow the channel and continue our journey as hip-hop's first and premier extreme podcast.